The town of East Grinstead is situated halfway between London and the south coast. The High Street was laid out as a marketplace early in the 13th century, with timber-framed houses on either side. The earliest surviving buildings are from the 14th, 15th and 16th centuries, and there were many inns catering for travellers. Number 11 High Street is now a family-run sweet shop, which has been here for a very long time.
It's 103 years this year, you know. Started with great-grandparents number 65, where the Rose and Crown public house now is, and been passed down through the generations, through my grandparents and through my parents to Margaret and I now today. You know. So yeah, long time. But I haven't been here for that long. I've only been here for 48 of them.
So you do sell tobacco as well, don't you?
We do, and that's traditionally we've always done that. I think if I was starting again today, it would be the one thing I wouldn't do. The margin is very poor on them. It's a lot of money tied up in them for what is a little return, and I could really do with that room to put more jars in anyway. You know. So, but we do it mainly because it's traditional to do it, but with today's anti-smoking climate, I'm not sure if we started again that would be one area we would keep going. I like Easter time. I love to see all the rabbits, and I mean we actually start off with 2 rabbits in February, and by now they've multiplied to the level you see out there now. No, Easter's a nice time. The only problem with Easter is it's condensed very much sales-wise into 1 week, and that puts a lot of pressure on us, you know. But people, again, I think it's because they have to eat things the minute they've bought them, so they can't hang on to them or something. I don't know. But yeah, next week will be absolutely manic. Our specialist products are tumbled toffees and muddled mints. Amaneurs is one of our favourites, isn't it, Margaret? Jumbled jellies and fizzy favourites, along with chocolate ginger, Brazils in both milk and plain chocolate. One of my most enjoyable parts of the job now. I started out with a bit of card and cut round it and made a template, and my wife used to sit at home cutting round them and that, and it was fun. But then a box maker came in here, having lives locally. He makes boxes in Crawley, I think it was, and he'd had 1 or 2 of our boxes and felt he could make them better, which of course he could. But again, we got down to numbers, and he agreed that, you know, we were talking perhaps 2,000 in a year, but over about 7 different lines, and it just wasn't economic for them to produce it. But anyway, during the course of that conversation, he mentioned that it's impossible to make a 7-sided box. And nobody says to me it's impossible to do anything. And so we designed a 7-sided box and made one up, and it worked fine. And so we thought, right, we're going to go for this. And so if you know, most of our boxes are 7-sided, and that's the reason. Simple as that. We have since bought a little cutting machine that cuts them out and makes life a lot easier. Margaret actually prints them out here, and my wife cuts them out on the machine and sticks them all together, and if I'm up to it, then I fill them up and seal them. But yeah, no, I find designing and making them one of the most interesting things. It also allows us to do a lot of personalised boxes for people. But not many people can get their heads around that, and of course they all think if they walk in this morning they can have it this afternoon. Well, it takes a few hours to design them, a few hours to make them, and a few hours to fill them, and no, you're talking a week, you know. So, and most people leave most things till the last minute. In 1962, when Tooth's the chemist closed down, they used to do cake decorating things, and came over and saw Dad and asked him if he'd like to take it on, so we introduced the cake decorating in 1962. Then in 1989, when we extended the shop into the first stockroom, we introduced the knitting wall, which was Margaret's little hobby really, and extended the cake decorating to include a lot of professional stuff and that's all up at the back of the shop.
Well, you have an enormous display of sweets here. I don't know where you find all these different ones.
Unfortunately, there's still the manufacturers about. I mean, not as many as there were. We're down now to just one toffee maker. Still got about 4 boilings makers. There's really only about 3 gummy makers left now. And the more specialist stuff, you're down to just literally one company. That can make life more difficult these days. In the old days, if something wasn't available from your regular supplier, you could go to another supplier, whereas now you're out of it. If he hasn't got it, you haven't got it. So, but yeah, they are still out there, but they're all up north. There's none down the south now. And of course, there's very few shops left like this, so hence the manufacturers are going out of business because they can't shift their goods. So it's a dying era. We're a dinosaur from the past.